Welcome to 60 Skills. And the topic of today's discussion is the secrets of mental training. All right, what are the secrets of mental training? Well, they're not really secrets because they're in fact contained within the 60 Skills curriculum. That said, some discussion of the underlying methods that are important really needs to be had. So, okay. What can you do with mental energy? Well, mental energy is in and of itself a bit of an oxymoron. See, technically speaking, in a pure mental state, there shouldn't be any sensation of energy at all, because energy is actually an astral level phenomenon. That said, we use this expansive feeling at the side of the head as our cue for developing mental energy in the 60 Skills curriculum. Now, when working with mental energy proper, there are really two main techniques involved. And you learn these fairly early on. First, when working with mental energy, because it's a spaceless commodity, there's really only two things you can do with it. You can focus, aka the Samahati techniques, or you can release. In general, releasing is better for generating a wide mental space that in turn makes it easier to separate the mental body from the physical and astral bodies and engage in what we would call enlightenment techniques. The releasing techniques as well have a variety of very powerful uses in terms of regulating human health, the functioning of the body, so on and so on and so on. That said, we've all met lots of people who have such an open and wide mental field that they can't concentrate at all, which in turn leads us to the second major technique involving mental energy, and that is your ability to focus. Now, your ability to focus, or otherwise learning how to concentrate, is actually a multi-step process. First, you have to clear out all of this background clutter in our mind that leaves us permanently distracted. This is the observing thoughts exercise. Now, in truth, this doesn't take very long, usually a couple days or a couple weeks of 10 to 15 minutes of practice a day is more than enough for the mind to calm down and become truly focused. Next, we learn how to focus our mind on a pinpoint. This does a bunch of things. It builds fire within the body, as well as will. And this is important because if you're walking around spaced out all the time, you can't get anything done. A focused will, on the other hand, is exactly how people get things done. Now, after this, we learn the emptiness exercises where you sit in emptiness, allowing no thoughts to enter your mind at all. This in turn generates very small amounts of akasha. This generation of akasha at a very small level, when combined with a more power-oriented technique, such as the establishment of equilibrium, allows a practitioner to engage akasha wholesale, and this is where we can really go down the path of enlightenment. That said, if you're just interested in enlightenment and you don't necessarily care about all the other magical aspects or applications for it, there's a fourth stage to the single-pointed focus exercises, and this is merge into light. Because after you've generated akasha, well, it's pretty easy to generate non-dual light. At that point, your consciousness gets absorbed into light, and you enter into nirvana. Now, if you haven't done any body training and you haven't worked on equilibrium and all these other kinds of things, it can take quite a while for this method to work. But this method by itself works just fine. It's merely slow. The rest of the 60 Skills curriculum is centered around speeding this process up. So we've talked about how with mental energy, you can really only do two things. You can focus and you can release. Well, let's talk about some of the things that can get you there and why this is important. All right. Additionally, you're going to want to learn how to do the 3 releases or the 3 transformations. This allows you to sense and work with vital energy, convert that into astral, and then convert that into mental. And by virtue of doing this, it gives you a lot more mental energy to work with. Additionally, you are, of course, going to want to do some of the body training for the same reason. This body training will, in turn, give you access to more energy to work with, and therefore make the ability to generate mental energy much easier. Now, the 3 transformations are also interesting in that not only do they teach you how to transform energy, but they also teach you how to tell the difference between the different kinds of energy. This in turn is valuable, so when you're working with the elements or other energies to achieve a given goal, more of a chain of manifestation thing, you understand what level at which you're engaging the energy. Because there's actually a 4th transformation beyond the first 3, and that's where you generate akasha in the field above your head. So being able to clearly differentiate what kind of energy you're encountering then allows you to determine what it does and how to utilize it. Even if the basis in a lot of this is the mental effect. So these are some things to think about in terms of how you would train mental energy and why you would want to train it. More importantly, how it fits together with all the other kinds of energies out there, and the fact that it's not really an energy at all, so much as a state of awareness. If you've enjoyed today's lecture, please hit the like button down below and maybe subscribe. And if you'd like to learn more about the 60 Skills curriculum, go down to the details contained in the box below the video. Otherwise, train hard and be well.